Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Sorry about that a little earlier, but we should be back in business now. This is what happens when you don't use an app for like 4 months. You kind of forget what to do. So the sound is working now. Let me make sure that we're live on YouTube, and we'll get up and running here pretty quick. So first, let me go here. Let me make sure that we are live on YouTube. Bear with me. Um, okay, so it's showing now. Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do, bear with me. Okay, sound check is great. I'm going to pop out the comments over here, and we are officially in business. So chat window over here. So we're going to have an exciting one. We're going to have a banger tonight. We're going to go over all the trades this year, especially the last 5 months where things really heated up for us. And I say us, of course, because we're a community. So hopefully you all are here and you learn from me. Sometimes I learn from you. And maybe if we're lucky, we'll get several of you on in the Discord live chat. So thanks, Rod, for telling me that the sound works. And thanks for telling me earlier that it didn't work because I went like 4 minutes without even realizing that the sound wasn't working. So, but that's what happens when you haven't used something in like 4 months. Um, okay. Now, so what we're going to do here uh, to start out with. So today was a very, very interesting day. Let's just go right into the account over here that says session expired. Let me X that one out. Um, Make sure I'm still on in Discord here. Okay, I'm on in the voice chat in Discord if anybody wants to join me in the voice chat. Let me mention Pay the Piper. I'd like to have him on. He's always entertaining. Okay. All right. Now we're back in business. Okay, so let me go to the Schwab account first. So here's what happened today. Let's just get right into it. So I closed out, I opened up a position in NVDL. I've been doing this now for 2 months in a row. NVDL is a great, easy way to make like a $5,000 premium per month at minimum. I'm going to show you what I turned it into today because I opened up my next one today and it was even juicier than that. For this one, so I got a little greedy. Yesterday, you'll see here on the transactions here, buy to close. I had to buy it back for $1,076. I could have only paid 200 for it, but for some reason, and I think this was a rational line of thinking, I thought I made the assumption that the market would not fluctuate all that much today because it's the end of a week, Christmas week, kind of uneventful. We're not exactly at the end of the year. This is not the last trading day of the year. So I thought the market would kind of not move too much up or down. And I looked at my Forex site, and it didn't show any major market movers today. So I was kind of perplexed. Um, as to why the market dropped today. But as usual, I know there's a Monday morning quarterback out there on Friday evening that has the perfect answer and knows exactly why the market dropped. So I'm eager to be enlightened in that regard. Because as of today, there was only some minor stuff. We had a goods trade balance, preliminary wholesale inventories, and natural gas storage. These numbers came in. So for the goods trade balance, it came in a little bit higher than the forecast. So I'm guessing that's our trade deficit, which ticked up. And I guess they're thinking with Trump coming in, um, they're thinking that the trade deficit's going to shrink, but he's not in office yet. And for all we know, the current administration might even be making things worse. Um, Natural gas storage came in. It's a deficit. It's less than what it was forecast to be. Previous month was 125 billion, so the deficit is shrinking, but it was in red because I guess it was lower than forecast, which I'm not sure why a negative number is a good thing. Maybe, well, it's actually in this case it's got it in red, meaning it was bad, meaning it was under what the forecast. It was a variance from the forecast by 7 billion. I heard something today, by the way, that natural gas. We had a ban on exporting natural gas, which is very stupid, I think. Like as a country, not to start off with politics here. I usually save those savory bits for the end, but I would expect that natural gas exports would be a good thing for our country. So whatever bozo banned that is an idiot, is all I'll say. Anyway, on that note, let's go back into why I was surprised today. I was surprised that the market dropped, but nonetheless, things ended up being way better for me. I turned today into a great day. Um, So this one I bought back for 1,000 instead of 200, so that was an $800 difference. But I more than made up for it on the back end because let me show you all what I did today. We'll just go over the last five here. So I bought four things back to close. Actually, five things. The first thing I had to do because Nvidia dropped, I had to buy back Nvidia. I had a $138 put, which was still in the green, so I made a little bit of profit on it, maybe $18. Um, not all that much. This one that I had open, Riot, I bought it back, so I made a profit on that one. MSTU, I'm finally back in the saddle on that one. I made a profit on that one. Uh, so to Justin Freeman, I don't like to roll. Um, I'm not a big fan of rolls, even like rolls of fat. I'm actually going to the gym every day trying to lose one. But as far as rolling, um, I you could call it a roll, what I did on NVDL, which you're going to see at the top here. This was my blockbuster trade of the day. This actually ties my record for biggest profit. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to jinx myself either because it's actually not a profit until I win 100% of the trade. So this one, um, okay, so you see what I did here with MSTU. I bought it back. What happened here, this ended up being two orders for whatever reason. I had seven contracts. I paid like 16 cents for one, 20 cents for the other. So got ripped off a little bit, but nonetheless, I navigated out of some positions that were in the money because oddly enough, this one has dropped now. This one has dropped below $10, which this was literally closer to $17 a week ago. So this has almost dropped in half, which is rather alarming. But I have faith that it will recover because I have faith in MSTR as a company. So stick with me, folks. This is going to get a lot more interesting here. We're just getting started. I want to look up MSTR for a second here. And if none of you all join on the voice chat, you know what? It'll just be me talking to all of you all, which sometimes you can't beat that. So MSTR has fallen since December 16th. It's fallen $106.50 because it's at $330 today. It peaked December 16th at 436.50. So that's a $106.50 drop. Okay, now here's the juicy trade of the day. So I bought back to close um, NVDL. Now this one I had taken in about a $4,800 premium. I had to buy back for 1,000, so I netted like a $3,800 premium, which is of course 1,000 less than what I wanted to net. But what did I say earlier? I've been doing about close to 5,000 the last 2 months on this one trade. Well, today, look at the juice here. I did a January 31st expiring trade at $70 strike, 10 contracts, $7,700, folks. That almost ties a record for me. So from 2 years ago, my record, this was on buying an option on a company called Danaher. I was close to like an $8,000 profit. This, if I realize all of this, I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but if I realize all of this, that, folks, would be an $8,000 gain. So what is that? That's $2,600 higher than our $5,000 average. So that more than makes up for what I had to buy back. So now what I want to do, this is going to be, trading workshop summing up 2024, even though, believe it or not, we actually still have two trading days left in the year. We have the 30th and the 31st. So I'm going to go to realized gains and losses here. So I've really heated up towards the last 3 months of the year. Well, August was pretty good too. And I'll show you why. So as far as like winning versus losing, I'm very transparent. I go over all my trades here. You can see the heat map here. The heat map has really heated up since November with the volume of trades. Now that's a direct correlation with the fact that at my work, I don't, I'm no longer subject to the same regulations that I was before because I'm sort of in a different area. So you see the difference here. Very few trades because these all had to be pre-cleared. One of them happened to be a big win, actually a few of them. Whereas here around July, things changed, and then I started getting really good. And of course, there's a lot of knowledge share that goes on in my Discord as well. So I started getting really good at collaborating and studying what other people in my own audience were doing with options trading. And this is why I say coaching is a two-way street because it's not always me just sitting here teaching or pontificating to all of you all. I actually learn from you all too, and that's the beauty of having a good community. to Justin Freeman. He says, I'm bag holding MSTU at 18. So am I. I'm actually at 1750. Sounds like you did similar to what I did. So I went ahead and got assigned so that I didn't take a loss. Now, the other trading pros in my Discord will say that uh, they say just roll because you never lose the premium no matter what. You keep the premium no matter what. I didn't want to just roll. I do believe it will recover. So I'll just make money back on the way up, is what I'll do. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do because in theory, you don't want to sell covered calls on it at below the strike price, but I have done that on other funds, so I will make money on this on the way up. But anyway, you see the heat map here with the trades. So we had some doozies at the beginning of the year because at the beginning of the year I was buying a lot of calls instead of selling them, and for some reason I had this irrational expectation that companies like Wayfair, Roku, and Snowflake would recover, and of course they didn't. And then this trade here, this was actually my old company stock because I used to work, for those of you that know me close, I used to work for JP Morgan, actually. The day, and Rod, if he's still on, he'll remember this, the day that we rang the bell, as we rang the closing bell, this was actually the tail end of what I consider a trade blunder because I did covered calls on this at a dumb price. It was a price of 120 plus the premium that I took in, the strike price added onto it was actually 133.69. But at the time, this stock was trading for over $200 a share. So I missed out on over $70 of upside. In fact, I'll tell you all exactly because, like I said, I'm transparent. I want to go over everything. So um, in June, the day of this trade, it was 196.30. So I missed out on about $63 and upside on this one. So I thought about buying it back because it was like $14,000 like in the red. But I figured, you know what? Let me just let this assign. And I closed out and I still made a $4,000 gain. And then when we get to August, now here's where things really started to heat up for me. So we had Jay owes me money, right? So we had Jeppy and QQQY. They split. Actually, I would say Sylvia owes me money. Actually, I think another YouTuber made that argument in our own peer group here. Won't name any names, but Jeppy and QQQY had the split, so I lost a little bit there. But here's where things really turned around for the coach here. So in August, I started doing TQQQ. I started buying contracts of TQQQ at an $85 strike price. Now, this is a trade, folks. This will work many, many times over for you, and it's worked many, many times over for me. I've also lost on it too. I lost on it last week because I misunderstood how Papa Powell, who I wouldn't actually mind if Trump fired him, um, I misjudged how the market would react and what he said. Um, because like I've said already, I misjudged, like, before the election, he cut interest rates by 50 basis points, and then he had a sudden 180 change of heart and said, actually, we don't need to cut so aggressively. So he said, like a week ago, he said, well, in 2025, we don't need to cut four times. We only need to cut two times, which tanked the market completely. And I just think the inconsistency and the fact that he no longer has the cover of looking apolitical, I think should lose him his job, in my opinion. But we'll see. Anyway, on that, aside from that side rant, so this was my first win in August for TQQQ, 756.67, and then I sold Starbucks. So I bought back into Starbucks this year. Starbucks popped on this particular day, August 13th. It popped on some headlines, and so I went ahead and sold it. Nvidia, I don't even think I did a covered call here. I just decided to randomly sell it. So I made, and I've been in and out of Nvidia because I've been wheeling it. And then Apple, this was my biggest win as far as buying calls. I bought calls earlier in the year for only 343 bucks, sold them for $2,578. So, well, actually, I sold them for 29.21, so the proceeds were 25.78 on five contracts. So that was my biggest, like percentage wise, my biggest win of the year. You'll see that up here on the heat map. This is this guy up here, 751%. And as Hoffman in my audience says, he says, his philosophy is to never buy options. Well, when you buy options, this is the type of upside you can have. It's unlimited upside, just like buying puts on the other way. It's unlimited upside. Whereas when you sell them, and you're collecting premium, you're trying to win the trade. You may win 81, 85 or 90 or more percent. Or if it expires out of the money, you win 100% of the trade. But you're never going to have more than 100% win percentage wise in that regard. Dollar wise, you'll do well because of premiums, but as far as a big blockbuster trade, buying options still has a place in my heart, I'll say. Um, and then after that one, TQQQ did another win. This was only 196.72. Did it again. Now this one, this was November 15th, and the Nasdaq had a really good day this day, so I made a $907 profit on this one. Did it again in October, made 236.71. And then I was in, so some of these aren't all options trades. Some of these are just selling, buying and selling stock. So I got into Sprouts. I got 50 shares of Sprouts earlier in the year and then just decided to sell it because it was at like a 52-week high. And then what did I do? I had a big boo-boo, big blunder. And this one I learned from. So here in Florida, so we had two hurricanes this year. We had Hurricane Milton, we had Hurricane Helene. We actually had three. Back in August, we had a tropical storm that became a hurricane. It was Debbie, I think. So Milton, I did this one in the last day of like before the hurricane hit. So I happen to not be paying attention. I know it sounds like I'm making excuses, but I'm really not. So what I was doing, I was actually trying to follow something that some of my audience members do, but this inspired this lesson here inspired now three more successful trades. Oh, look who it is. Pay the piper. Hey, join my voice chat. Let's chat. Let me go through my trades first, but then you and I can talk because you're like the goat at this, I would say. Actually, the three of you, you know who I'm talking about. So this one, what I did, I got scared on this one. I could have actually won this trade, but I went ahead and closed it because 10 contracts at $57, I would have had to come up with $57,000. And unlike Pay the Piper, I don't have that kind of money just sitting around. So I would have had to come up with that, and so it would have called it away from me. Which, when a covered call is exercised on shares you don't actually own, I'm sorry, this wouldn't be a covered call. This is just selling a call. It's like a naked call, basically. So when that is called away from you on shares you don't actually own, they're going to liquidate something else. So that was kind of scary. So that was a boo-boo. But anyway, learned big time from it. Should have never happened, but as you all see, I've still done great. Next one, Nvidia. Then I started wheeling Nvidia because the price was moving a lot. I've made a lot of money this year wheeling Nvidia, by the way. So this was 148.67, and then high tie. This was one that I was banking on high tie going up, which it finally did like a month or around this time, but the timing was just off because I owned this one for most of the year. So the theta decay offset what I would have made in it. Oh, Pay the Piper says Full House and family still over making dinner. Kick him out. Kick him out. See how hospitable I am. Okay, and then TQQQ after this one. So this high tie one was a loss because I bought the calls thinking that it would shoot up. We were all expecting all these amendments to pass, and we were expecting the green stuff. I won't mention the name, but the green stuff, we were expecting all these amendments in all these states to pass and for it to get legalized more so. And I think a lot of people were actually expecting either Biden to win or Harris to win, which I guess would have been more favorable to the green substance, even though Trump also said here in Florida, at least he came out in support of Amendment 3, which ended up not passing. It would have needed like a 60% um, vote share to pass, and it fell short of that. Anyway, that is unrelated to this. Chipotle had a little loss here. So I actually got called out of Chipotle doing the wheel on it. Nvidia again, another $127 here. Easy money. TQQQ 106. Tesla, this was. Now I feel dumb selling Tesla. I sold 10 shares of it. I still have some shares, but I sold this one right before the election, right before it shot up. It's actually almost doubled in price. Let's see who. I think this noise meant someone joined the voice chat here. So let's see. Oh, he just left. See, it takes a brave soul to join in and confront the coach live. Unfortunately, whoever that was that just joined, they ran away. Oh well, we press forward. So, yeah, Tesla, I locked in a gain, which, making money's never dumb, but it could have been a lot more. There was a lot more meat on the bone. TQQQ, this one, I let this one expire, worthless, so I collected all of this one. Oh, it was you, Justin Freeman, trying to learn Discord. Well, feel free to come on if you're brave enough to come on the voice chat. Feel free. And then SMCI, these were wins here twice at 47, 46. NVIDIA. So what I want to do here, I'm going to kind of blow through these a little bit faster, and then I'm going to show you all by month how well this did. Because hopefully some of you are in the position I was like 4 or 5 years ago. Hopefully this inspires you all to not create YouTube channels, not become competitors of mine, because that has happened. And I don't actually mean competitors, I mean collaborators. Um, but at least inspire you all to, want to get out of your job, want to trade, want to do other things. Because this is how I got inspired. I actually found YouTube finance, and I figured, you know what, I can actually do this too, because this is my wheelhouse, finance. Um, get out of my job, trade full time, make dividends full time, and that's literally the concept of the channel. Live on dividends and options now, which I'm getting very close to doing. I'm moving from like lean fire to the next one. I know I should know all these terms. Well, it's not fat fire. It would be no, barista fire. I'm sorry, you've got barista fire, lean fire, and fat fire. I would almost be at barista fire, which means I could actually work a job like being a barista and still do okay. But anyway, I just prefer to keep the job. Yeah, see, you said barista fire. I just prefer to keep things going as they are for the time being. Okay, so next one, this was NVIDIA, 150 here, SMCI again. You see, I'm wheeling a lot of the same ones. Chipotle, there's some wins there and there. And then had some blunders, lost money on NVIDIA because it moved up. And this is going to happen when you're doing the wheel strategy. You're going to have things move against you. Now, these I actually rolled. So, Justin, you asked me about rolling. I rolled two of these here. This one, so the thing about rolling, okay, on paper, you collect a premium no matter what. But when you roll, you're going to take a realized loss, typically. I can't really see rolling for a gain. It's only typically rolling at a loss. That's how I describe it. I know not everybody agrees on the terminology, but nonetheless, the next one, NVIDIA, again, another 170 there. Chipotle, TQQQ. You see, I go back to the same trades. This was actually, I did this one for the election. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I kind of thought Trump would win, but once he won, the market shot up the next day. So this was a quick 438 over here on 5 contracts. I would have done a lot more. It's always, if I knew, I would have done more. I took a chance. I really wasn't sure. After 2020, I wasn't sure, and I won't get into that. But and then Riot. Now this is one I closed out today, so this ended up being a net loss, I think, because I went ahead and just closed it. I rolled up to like $10 here. So Nvidia again. So the wheel strategy is kind of like a cat and mouse game. So what happened here on November 8th is I got called out of Nvidia again because of course it shot up after the election, after Trump won, everything started going up. So I will say the market going up made things a lot easier for sure. I actually had someone tell me they're like, "Oh, are you sure it's just you or is it the fact that the market's going up?" I'd like to say a little bit of both. I'd like to take some credit, but maybe not all the credit. Um, Anyway, so Nvidia here. So what this did, so I sold it, and then the premium I collected was like not that much really. It was like 90 something dollars, but I sold out of it, and then I did puts to get right back in. So you see here, what I was able to do here while Nvidia was at like 140, I was doing puts over here at 132, collecting tremendous profits over here. Well, 211. I mean, that might pay a bill. Chipotle, you see again the same companies that I'm doing trades on. So for a couple of weeks here, it was literally Chipotle, Nvidia, Chipotle, Nvidia. High I got called out of High because what I did, I collected. You see the difference here between total and long term. The difference is about $680. Let's see. Rod says, why not just trade NVDX cheaper and higher? See, this is why I like knowledge sharing. I like collabing because I always get new ideas. Let's look at it. NVDX. NVDX is the 2x long. You're right, actually. So NVDL. See, I don't always spend a ton of time researching all this stuff. I've heard of NVDX before. Um, so NVDL is 2x long. Hold on now. So you're saying cheaper, higher implied volatility. You're right. But here's the thing. Being cheaper So I can do more contracts. I can squeeze more juice. To answer your question, I can squeeze more juice out of NVDL than I can NVDX at the moment. At least that's what I've convinced myself of. Um, NVDX, I would say these are going to have a similar. Oh, this is daily target ETF. I could actually give me some example trades because I'm sure you trade this one. I probably could implement this into the repertoire. But anyway, so Haitai, so I made about close to $700 because I had, as you see, I had 3,000 shares. For some reason, the reason I only have 100 shares left, the reason I even have 100 shares left is because of a little glitch. For some reason, out of the 30 orders, only 29 of them would go in. One of them wouldn't execute. So I ended up getting called out of this one for a nice gain, as you see. So when you wheel like this, the premium you take in goes on top of your gain, but that becomes a short-term gain, which you'll see over here. Um, if I'd have to go all the way down, I guess, but where's the stupid scroll bar at the bottom? Anyway, there's actually long-term and short-term gain. Most of these are short-term gain. And then another stock that I actually got called out of was Manulife. This one was a slight gain, but this one I actually got wheeled out of and I never chose to get back in because the premiums weren't that juicy. Now, Tesla, I actually bought more shares of Tesla when it started recovering. So I chose to sell some because my OCD, what I did, I think I have like 4,000 shares of it, and I ended up getting 4,100 because of a little bit of a addition and subtraction error, which I still do. So I sold 100 just because of my OCD. I'm like, I don't want 4,100. I want an even 4,000. So I sold at a loss, but it's a disallowed loss um, because I had just bought and sold. I think that's the wash rule. So what does Rod say here? I trade XOXL instead, basket of chip stocks. Okay, you're giving me some ideas here. I like this. I appreciate the collaboration here. SOXL is a good one. I have heard it mentioned before. I definitely might add both of these to the repertoire. But NVDL I like a lot. Um, so wow, Rod, you must be rolling with your YouTube income, which I'm sure is really high now, and your options trading. You're probably getting close to barista fire, if not lean fire yourself. Okay, and then Nvidia again. Now this was a juicy one here. Look at this, 150, $417. And I realized most of this. What I do sometimes, here's the funny thing. This is how things work, okay? Um, when I buy this back, you see where it says cost basis here? So I made 449 in premium. I bought it back for 31 because I didn't want to take the risk of what might happen the next day. This could blow up. I could get the whole premium wiped out. So I bought it back for $31. I locked in, what was this, like a 90% gain? Um, 417. Let's do that real quick. 417.67 out of 449.33 is a 93% gain. So I can't complain about that one. This one, um, what did I do here? This doesn't make sense. I guess I bought and I got out of the same trade twice. Oh, because I think the stock moved a lot. The stock must have had a down week. And then look here, I did TQQQ again at $80, but I eked out like a $6.73 profit. Because what happens, the tricky thing, it's a fine balance, okay? So when you're trading these 30 days before expiration, the theta decay is exponential. So if you are banking on a big move in the Nasdaq, which obviously after Papa Powell tanks the markets, we're going to have. Here's the funny thing, we'll get to that in a second. But last week when Papa Powell tanked the market, which wow, it dropped 300 today too. Um, when he tanked the market, we went from 20,146 in the Nasdaq all the way down to 19,376. So we lost 800 points like that. Now, the thing with that is that that was December that was wow, that was December 18th. So within a week, we fully recovered. So because we fully recovered, you could have done this same trade and made a fortune because this is a triple levered ETF. And I've been saying for the longest time that it's almost like cheating when you can do a triple levered ETF, whether it's TQQQ, whether it's UPRO, or whether it's TNA on the Russell. Those are the three index triple. And I actually have a crazy idea, not to get too far off topic here, But let me know what you all think about this. My main 401k that was at my first job, which has grown very nicely, I've actually thought about moving it to an external broker and just wheeling out of like the triple levered ETFs. That's really risky, but as they say, risk reward, right? So let me know what some of you all's thoughts are on that idea. Now, I think we've had a brave soul enter the arena here to come on and debate the coach. It looks like Jim Janitor. Welcome, Jim Janitor. You are more than welcome to unmute your mic and introduce yourself. You're right, Rod, by the way. XOXL is triple leverage. That's been on my radar for a while. It's just been so much going on this year. I've slowed down on YouTube and all that, but that's my New Year's resolution to really refine this. So, all of you all that are listening to me, stay till the end because that's where this video is gonna like climax. That's where you're gonna see my trade income for the year. Oh, I think he left. Did he leave? Ah, that's two people now. Am I that intimidating? I'm a nice guy. Just come on and talk to me. Oh, now he's back. Oh, he's probably having technical difficulties. Anyway, uh, let's go back now. Okay, so we're almost done. We're on November 22nd. 417 there, 38 there, $6 there. Chipotle. You see the same ones I keep going to. Now here, that $4,800 loss that you all saw up here a little while ago, this is where I learned my lesson. And hopefully you all learn this with me too. First of all, pay attention to what you're doing. Don't be distracted. Um, and second of all, so here's what I did. Um, this one, so I bought it back for like really pennies on the dollar. So I had, and I wish I could show this like as I make the trades, but it doesn't show here until you lock in the gain or loss. So NVDL, I did it at a $60 strike price. Um, and you're right, by the way, Rod, you're right. NVDX is cheaper and it's got more leverage. This is 1.5x. NVDX is 2x. Um, of course you're right. You do this more than I do. But so I did 10 contracts of these at a $60 strike price, and I pretty much netted like 99% profit on this one because as you guys see here, guys and gals, as you see, the first five, so it was 489, the closing price. It was so 24.46.61 I collected, bought it back for $25 on the first one, which was an absolute steal. I mean, the only better price you can get than that is zero. Um, which means it expires completely worthless, but I didn't want to take the risk of holding it into the next day. Of course, the one time I do take the risk of holding it into the next day, what happens? Well, you'll see. Instead of, you know, the last $200 of meat left on the bone, I end up having to buy back for 1,000. So that's what happened. Of course, on the one day I don't buy it back, which I could have bought it back for 200 yesterday. That's what happens. So that's the funny thing about that. And then the second half of it, 38.30, that was still a steal. Um, so 4,800 out of 4,800 and change. That's a big win as far as I'm concerned. And then you see the same thing with NVIDIA here, juicy premium again for NVIDIA. See 138, 140. And what I do a lot of times when I'm looking, when I'm like actively trading, I just look at it because I can pretty much day trade now if I want to. So I look at it, I'm like, wow, I've locked in most of that. Let me buy that back real quick. And then I go impulsively open another one at like 140. I get like really excited. And then I opened a call at 150. So at one point I was doing the put and the call. So in that point, with the put and the call, you're going to be right no matter what. Like you're either going to be right on the put side or the call side. In this case, I happen to be right on both, which I'll take that win. Chipotle, again, you see here, $58 put. So yin is one that I got assigned on. And then here's Mr. Realtor here, Mr. Houston Realtor. MSTU is my new trade. Yeah, see, you're learning. That's the power of a good community, right? So yin, I broke my own rule. Actually, it's not my rule. I think it's Hoffman's rule. But I broke the rule of not doing puts or calls below your actual strike price on the shares you own. I did that, but still came out ahead here. So I guess the lesson is, folks, sometimes you can break the rules and still come out ahead. Not encouraging it, but in this case, it worked. SMCI, $28. This one bought it back, 53, 411, netted 358. NVIDIA, look at all these NVIDIA trades. I need to actually add up what I've made just in NVIDIA this year. So there's 3 wins there. Chipotle, there's a nice win. Oh, that's where I got called out of it. So it was a $60 call option, covered call. I had 300 shares of it because I actually wheeled in like another 200. Um, and then I certainly got wheeled out of it. 450 the gain. So the 119 per share, that's the premium that was added on to the strike price because that was the premium I took in. So the premium was actually $357. So that was most of my gain. And then here, speaking of MSTU, here's my first MSTU win. This one, I won all of this one. I got all the meat off of that bone. That bone was clean. 1259.30. That was a 100% win there. Nvidia again, and then yen. I did it at 30, which is below my strike, but I still won the trade. Had to buy it back because I didn't want these called away at a loss. MSTY. So I've actually started breaking into the options trading on actual YieldMax products, which I'd like to pick Rod's brain on this one. Rod, what are your thoughts on doing options on YieldMax products? A lot of them I've looked at, I haven't found too much of a juicy premium on, but in this case, I found a little bit here and I just bought it back, so I made some additional money on top of the dividend. Got a little greedy, I guess. Chipotle again. Now I'm out of Chipotle, so at this point, these are naked puts, but this was a price I would be comfortable owning it again, $64. See, I actually, man, me and Houston Realtor here, I feel like we're on the same page because he said the same thing. The premiums aren't there. That's what I've found for the most part too. Let me look while I'm at it, Chipotle. Uh, Coney's kind of worth it, but barely. Yeah, I've looked at Coney too. Ooh, Chipotle, I should actually buy back in. It's $60, 60.78. Okay, now here's what happens, folks. So, TQQQ, I took a risk here at $80. This was a put though, because I was banking on the Nasdaq going down, which I was only a week off. If I did this a week later, I would have made a lot. So I was only a week off. What does Earth Creature say? MSTY has terrible options, but the dividend makes it worth it to hold. Actually, MSTY, as you see here, Mr. Marvin Martian, as you see here, I did make some money on it. It's not a great premium for 100 shares, but it's something. So TQQQ lost all of that one. That's what's going to happen sometimes. Look at the options chain, it will surprise you. Yeah, I need to take a more detailed look. So MSTU, I won my second trade on it. TQQQ, I was back in the saddle again here. Only 104. Now, oh, this is what this one was. So as I was watching our chump Fed chairman, oh, did I just say that? I mean Papa Powell. As I was watching him speak, I got really mad how much the market was dropping. So I said, you know what? Like, I'm not going to take a total loss on this one. So, and this is what I did down here. Okay. So let me cover two of these first, then I'll get back to this. MSTY, again, another premium. See this one, by the way? Uh, Still a nice win there. And then NVIDIA, I won that one. But TQQQ, so here's what I did. I lost $1,000 here because I had 10 contracts open. I opened another 10 because I kept watching it drop, and I'm thinking the market's going to stop free falling. Like I said, once he's done talking, it's going to come back. So I kept buying down and down, and they were going to expire in like 3 days. So never do this. That's what I did. It was a gamble. It's literally just like I'm at the casino gambling. But what I did on the put side, I bought in at 82, and I'm like, you know what? If it's going to keep dropping, let me buy some puts on it. And I did, and I won a quick, like in like 5 minutes or less. I made $147. I should have kept it though, because it kept dropping, so I should have kept it. All right, we're getting some good comments here. Let's see. NVDX lacks liquidity and is priced at 5 cents. It will cost much more to exit a trade free and buy the contract back. This is good discussion. I'm really enjoying this. NVDL is a better option, no pun intended, if you want 2x leverage on NVIDIA. I'm confused though because it says 1.5x here, but when I look at my phone, NVDL, it says 2x on my phone, but when I look at the trades I've closed out, it says 1.5x. So that's confusing. He's surprised MSTY is not zero, a dollar above current strike. How long do I normally hold contracts? I hold them to expiration if I can take in all the premium. Anyway, let's get back to this. We're almost done here. Um, Okay, so there's that lost 1,000 there. MSTU, I was back in the saddle on this one. Now I had a big loss on this one because I got assigned at $17. That doesn't show up here, by the way. I just got assigned, but I'm holding the bag, waiting for it to recover, which I believe it will. I'm almost positive it will. Because my thesis, and let me know if you guys agree or disagree, but when I did the trades when it was $17, I almost feel like I would make the exact same move again because my thesis was that, okay, it just split 10 for 1. Basically, it was 10 for 1, I think, or maybe 8 for 1. It just split. So I said now people are going to be able to afford to buy more shares, and that's going to put upward momentum on the ETF price. But of course, the ETF is indexed for MSTR, and MSTR has dropped $100. So that has a lot to do with it. But my thesis in the long run might still be right. Okay, so 609 there. And then look at this. This week, by the way, folks. Now, I wanted to close this out on Christmas Eve, but unfortunately, I was hungover that day and I slept in. So I missed the 4 hours that the market was open. So I had some theta decay into probably Christmas Day. So I closed it the day after Christmas for 196.74. Probably could have had another 100 or two, but nonetheless, that one worked. Riot, here's the trades I just closed today. So this is where we end on this note. Okay, so there's four more. In VDL, which see here, I'm confused now because it says 1.5x, but it says 2x on my phone. So which one's right? So Riot, I closed this one out for a nice gain, but it's actually a net loss if you look up because it was like 4 something. NVDL, okay, this was what I collected, okay? This is what I had to buy back for because I got greedy and held it until through the last day. And I think a lot of us would make these same mistakes. That's why it's good for us to kind of bounce these ideas off of each other. Um, oh, by the way, Pay the Piper's still with us on the chat, it looks like. That's cool. Okay, so I bought back for 1,000 instead of 200. Now there's one guy of the three. I don't call them the Three Stooges because they're actually like three really smart. Pay the Piper happens to be one of them, but one of his buddies typically likes to roast me when I make a bad trade, but he's a little, shall we say, quieter on the wins. But that's okay. He does compliment me, and I value him. I'm willing to be the butt of the joke because I've learned so much from this guy. I'm glad that he's in my community. Okay, so this was a big win actually. Percentage wise, this one was. I love the comments here. I got you all clicking. So this divided by 478. So this was a 77% win. So I'll take it. I like it. NVIDIA, I had to get out of this one today. MSTU, I got out of this one without. So what was great about this, this was what was so beautiful about today. When I woke up and I saw how much the market was down, I thought all these trades blew up in my face, but they didn't. I was able to close all of them out today for a gain because MSTU was at below $10, which is crazy. It's almost fallen in half. So for the year, and we're not done yet. We still have 2 more days, so I still might add to this. That's where I'm at, folks, for the year. Long term, short term, net gain. I have a disallowed loss from Tesla. Overall, you're going to have wins, you're going to have losses. As long as your wins exceed your losses, you're doing great. As far as a benchmark, I like to be at 80%. I'm at 76%, so I give myself like a B plus. One more thing I want to show you all here, and then I have all these added up. So the thing about this, most of these options are short-term gains. So 6,000 long-term, 20,000 short-term. One question I have for Rod, by the way, I believe Rod, you're an accountant. So when you're doing taxes, and I'm not asking for tax advice or anything, but this formula here for options is supposed to be 60% long-term, 40% short-term, I believe. But when you plug this into the tax software, I believe it counts it as a short-term. Not 100% sure, but I think that's what it does. So I might be overpaying on that. Okay, folks, moving right along. I guess we can look at the Roth IRA too. This is only one account, believe it or not. I pretty much do the same trades in the Roth. So the Roth, I'll breeze through this one really quick. My ratio is actually better in the Roth, which is surprising. I'm at 79% gain loss, so I'm close to my 80%. I believe if you can win 80% of your trades, you are a solid trader. So I'm almost there. If I didn't have a couple of boo-boos, I'd have a much higher win ratio, of course. But you see, long term, short term, I win most of my long term gains because I win most of my long term trades because I never take a loss. So net gain there. So this was gains, losses, and then the net. You see here, I've had some losses here, TQQQ, because I did some boo-boos there. So I did the same thing here with Wayfair, a company called Inseego, and then Roku. I was banking on these shooting way up. but they didn't. Not in the time frame I was looking for. I did the same Apple trade that I did in the brokerage. TQQQ did the same trade there. Had some minor losses on AT&T. I have a lot of AT&T in this account, so I've been wheeling AT&T as well. I got wheeled out of Palantir at $45, which looking back, that looks like a boo-boo because it's what, $75 today. Did some trades on Riley, got wheeled out of my high tie as well. Car Gurus, Kyndryl, TQQQ, more trades on Riley. I need to go back to some of these here. Had a solid win on MSTU, AT&T, won most of that one because I'm down in AT&T, so I like to win. I like to offset what I'm down with call options. Options is all Texas regular income. I actually thought, and this is a good quick discussion here, if I go to Google, as some of my professors in college told me, Google is your friend. So options tax, there's a complicated formula, um, and for some reason it just doesn't quite apply. I do believe it is tax at ordinary income, but where's that formula where it's like long term, short term? Let's cover this real quick. Okay, so it says long term, 60% of the trade is supposed to be taxed as a long term capital gain or loss. Short term, 40% of the trade is taxed as a short term capital gain or loss. For some reason, that's supposed to be the IRS rule, but I don't feel like it applies. So I've either overpaid or I'm giving them why nothing no go up. I know it's like the opposite. Well, some of them that was the case. Like in this case, Nasdaq no go up a week ago. See, $600 loss there. But MSTY. Oh, by the way, who was it telling me that MSTY didn't have juicy premium again? Look at that. 224 I collected. I bought it back, but that one, $37. That was a juicy premium on that one. And you get a dividend on top of that. It's like double dipping. MSTU, some wins there again, and then TQQQ got blown up on that one. Okay, folks, that's the Roth, that's the brokerage. Now for the fun. Now let's look at this. This is what's really exciting because I actually have made such significant progress on this um, that I can see myself twice. Um, all kidding aside, hold on a second here. Oh, it's over here. Okay. All kidding aside, this is the juice, folks, because I can't even believe this, but this was like my dream 2 years ago. So if I add up everything I just showed you all from August 2024, these are the trades I made in August. Had the big wins in Apple. So August, look at that, full-time income. September, not as great because I only did one trade on TQQQ. October, I lost 2,000, but that was because of this one here, this boo-boo. If it wasn't for that boo-boo, watch this. This would have been a almost $3,000 month. But check this out, folks. Look at November and December. And that's on top of the yield max dividend income. So at this point, I can guarantee you the month of November is more than I made working. The month of December is, let's see, I don't want to give too much away to you all, as much as I like you all. Um, yeah, November was above what I make working. December was almost there. So here's what I did here. I took a 5 months average, and this is obviously skewed downward by September and October. So the 5 month average is this, 5,000. If I take my top 3 months, look at this, and this is like 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I first became a YouTuber, this was unfathomable. 8,700, unfathomable. Now this would be if I annualize it, 60, and this really blows my mind. If I annualize this, take my top 3 months, because I can tell you I won't make that boo-boo again that I made in October, although there may be some boo-boos. 105. How about that? And then I've already started January 2025. Now this 7,693, this was the trade I made today. This was the one for NVDL. So that one, if I win all that one, that will be a good one for sure. Next thing I want to do while we're at it. So this is one stream of income. Next thing, like I like to do regularly, is look at the dividend income. So the options trading income is either on par or ahead of the dividend income. So let's look at this real quick. We're inching up. We're certainly inching up in this one. You see the last 3 months here, November or October, November, and December. Well, these are skewed, as Rod knows, because I think we both hold Tesla, right? By the way, Rod, how many Yield Max funds do you hold? So this one, December, 6,800, that is between that and between the options. I mean, that's a pretty sweet month, I have to say. And then this is obviously, most of it comes from Tesla. AT&T pays me a perfect 666, or maybe not so perfect. Um, that's funny that that's the number. 27 here for 2024, projected 50 next year. So look at the projection for next year. The projection is 72 for next year, whereas this year it was around 50, which is mostly that one fund. Here's the open options I have right now. That one's going to get assigned on me because that was the $17 one. That's the one I'm holding the bag on. I'll soon be the proud owner of 800 shares of that at a loss, by the way. So how about this one? Why MSTU no go up? As far as, let's see here, as far as other stuff, for the year, here's what we got received total. This is just mind blowing because I remember when I didn't make that working. That is mind blowing, folks. Interest, which is, of course, garbage. That's why I don't keep much in savings. But look at from 2023. Now, this isn't a full year because remember, Schwab took over Ameritrade, but I would say it does have the full year. When I bought Tesla, so I've been for the last 18 months, I've been, having a decent return really for the last 18 months since July of last year, with the exception of September. You see that, and it's starting to, snowball. So this was 2023, this is 2024. So I would say, folks, it's been a good Christmas, it's been a good year. I would say we all really have a lot to be thankful for, and I'm looking forward to, having an even better 2025. I hope all this can sustain because it's been real and it's been fun, folks. Oh, I had the comments left off over here. I've got to figure out one thing I need to learn from Kumair is how he does this. Uh, let's see. Oh, you just hold MSTY ulti. Y ulti no go up, right? YMAX and YMAG. I have some YMAX. Let me go over my holdings actually. Positions. Let's go over here. How many yield max do I have? Because I've had people accuse me of not having any. Hold on a second. I don't want to look at that one. Let me just do it this way actually. Uh, let's see here. Okay. Back to the screen holdings. Let's see. I've got those are the stocks I have. I've got Tesla, MSTY, SQY. Um, I've got YMAG. I don't have YMAX for some reason. So I think that's what, four? Oh, I do have some Alti, by the way. I have Alti over here. It's worth $1,000, so that's five. Oh, Coney, that's six. Oh, I got into Biggie, by the way. Biggie Smalls, right? We want it to be Biggie big or bigger. But I got 7,400 into that one. I like that one a lot. Actually, the next time I have Jay on, we're gonna talk about that a lot. I'll have to watch his interview on your channel, by the way. I saw he was on. You were in the Santa Claus outfit, by the way. That was really cool. Um, I should have, if I was a little more passionate about my channel the last few months, I would have planned something like that too. Um, but anyway, so yeah, Ulti, Coney, Biggie. I'm now in MSTU, of course. I'm the proud owner of 800 shares there. Um, what else? These are all ETFs. Beto's the ProShares one. YMAG. I have FEPI. I don't have the YieldMax one though. SQY, MSTY, and Tesla. So that's seven of them. I used to have a lot of fun with people that said I wasn't like a true like YieldMax person. I would say, hmm, not true YieldMax. Let's see, set some 2025 goals for your channel and stick to it. For sure. Thanks for the encouragement. But I would tell people when they were like, "Oh, you're not a true like yield max," I would say, let's see, Tesla, who created that? Yield max. Misty, who did that one? Yield max. That's what I used to do. I used to have fun with it. Anyway, to answer one more question here, because I've been ranting and raving for a while here. Somebody needs to shut me up in a little while. One more thing here to answer this question. Let's see what we can churn up over here. Oh, the yield max site. Let me go to the yield max site. So to answer your question, what do I think about feet and 5e? Feet not as in feet, but like the fund. But some people are into that. Uh, Dorsey Wright, featured 5 income. So the difference, one of them, it holds like 5 of the top like momentum-based stocks. It's like Nvidia, Tesla, stocks like that. So the hybrid one holds like 5 and 5. It holds the underlying, which I'm a big fan of the underlying. That's why I like FEPI so much. This one holds like 5 of the underlying, and it holds 5 of the yield max ETFs versions of the underlying. The other one only holds the uh, yield max funds. Don't judge. Um, that's okay. I got my OnlyFans account out there. Just kidding. That's by the way, hey, streams of income, right? I saw that one chick making 40 million on there. She makes more than like the top Yankees player. That says something. Priorities, right? Um, Okay, so we got the hybrid and the featured one. So Jay and company have done a great job coming out with a lot of interesting products. My favorite, so we've got 6 different yield max products now. We've got covered call ETFs, we've got fund to fund ETFs, we've got ultra ETFs, which ulti's the only one. Why ulti no go up? We've got short option income ETFs, the short ones, the inverse. Target 12. These two are, and I like the semiconductor one. I'm gonna have to look at this Soxy one. I know we're talking about feet, now socks. But Biggie is one that these are kind of funny names. Um, oh, look at you. I'm interested in SLTY. He's got jokes. I hope at some point you find the what is it called again? The Elonium Pew 36 explosive space modulator after you capture the Earth creature. Anyway, I love it when the commenters, when their names have like references to stuff that I get. I don't always get it, but most of the time I do. Okay, so I'm a big fan of Target 12. Um, I think it's going to lure in growth investors for sure because you got like the big 50 like top like highest price appreciating stocks, right? Or based on momentum or something like that. So these are going to draw in growth investors for sure. That's funny. I actually didn't know that. We'll have to ask him some questions about their naming conventions here. Anyway, folks, thank you all for tuning in. It's been real. It's been fun. None of you, unfortunately, were brave enough to confront me on Discord. I was really looking forward to that because I enjoy the back and forth. I was on voice chat the whole time. You all had me for an hour, so you can't complain that I haven't done a live show in a while because I now have. And I'll do more for sure. Um, Thank you all for tuning in. Hope that was enlightening. Hope that was inspiring. Like, comment, and subscribe, and join the Discord if you haven't already. And we will see you all in the next one. Take care. Have a